the founding father of Internet security, John McAfee. You can really say that. He's one of the founding fathers of Internet security. John, thank you so much for coming on with us, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Alex. I would enjoy being on your program.
Again, whoismcafee.com? Is that the best website?
That's the best website, sir. I've been doing fine. I've been working on my new project. I'm very alarmed with what's happening in privacy in America and the invasive tactics of the NSA. And I have been working on this device for a number of years. I've accelerated it in the past few months, and we'll have a prototype working in 6 months. It prevents the NSA or any government agency from accessing anything that you wish to do electronically.
Very exciting. Can you give us any tidbits on how it works, or the...
Yeah. Basically, it's a little hardware device, which is a communicator. There's no screen on it. You drop it in a pocket, and an application that runs on your iPhone or your Android or whatever device you're using, including laptops and iPads. And it basically turns your telephone into two devices, one which connects to the Internet normally for whatever, and the other which creates a completely secure local web, which is relayed across the world. The local web, nothing can identify you as where you are, what your name is, nothing, no ID even to the hardware device.
So it's a proxy device.
It's a proxy device, but it's a completely secure proxy device. The encryption is something that I personally have developed. The NSA nor any other agency is involved, and that's the problem. Now, the NSA helped, if you use the word in quotes, every technology company develop their encryption techniques. Well, what idiocy. Of course they can break them.
I know you want to get into Obamacare. From what I've seen, it's the legalization of the NSA. It data mines everything. I know you've been writing about that. As an expert, tell us about that, and I can't wait till this device comes out as well.
Well, yeah, the problem with Obamacare, and this is just from a technological standpoint, Alex, is that there is absolutely no security at all. For example, I can create a website, claim to be an agent, and ask, let you log on, and because it's a healthcare system, I can ask you the most intimate questions, and you're going to answer them online. I will then get your social security number, your birth date, all the information I need to assume your identity and empty your bank accounts the following day. And yet, there's nothing in this central system that I can go to verify that this is a legitimate website. It's insane. It is insane beyond belief. And I don't know who thought this thing up, but they have to be a complete idiot.
Or they want to bring down the whole ID system and force everyone onto biometrics via brainwaves, which is what Toyota and others are going to.
Well, I don't have a clue about that, but I know that it is the most insecure thing for Americans now. If you're signing up for Obamacare, you have no idea if it's a legitimate website, and I can tell you now, the cost to the consumers, to the American public, in terms of identity theft and their bank accounts being wiped out is going to be many times the entire cost of the Obamacare program. This is insane.
Sure. My point is they're coming out with cars that start via your brainwave fingerprint. Well, now they're just going to steal the signature of your brainwave or cut your finger off to get into these iPhone 5s. You, as a top security expert for decades, what is the best form of Internet security?
Common sense is number one, okay? If you, for example, let's use Obamacare. I would, if you're going to be signing up at all, make sure that it's a legitimate site. Number two, never ever give out information that's private to you, even if your own bank calls you and you're sure that it's the same bank. Okay, wait a minute, that should be on file with you already. Why are you calling me?
Look at how Academy Sporting Goods always asks for your number, your zip code. Somebody could be listening right there, steal your credit cards, and then use your credit cards with that zip code.
Absolutely. So you just never speak it, you never write it, you never give it to anybody. And if someone's asking you for it, what the hell are they asking it for? Excuse my language. Why are they asking you? This is the problem. We are so gullible, some of us, that we go, well, okay, it's the government, it must be safe. Or, it's my bank calling me, it must be okay. Well, it's very seldom safe. Never give out anything about yourself. Not your home address, not the name of your wife, not the name of your parents, not where you were born, nothing. And if people ask for it, be suspicious. Be really suspicious.
Well, you know how much, obviously but for listeners, thieves all over the world now sit with scanners picking up all the cordless phone traffic where you're on the bank giving them all your info. That's how they're stealing all the identities.
Absolutely. It's one of the ways. They're stealing it in every sort of way. But now the government is actually one of the hackers in my mind. I mean, they're wanting inside your head. They're wanting to know your intentions. They want to know who you're with, who your friends are, why you're friends with them. Something is seriously wrong here. Privacy, in my mind, is one of our unique and inalienable rights. The right to privacy we have lost as American citizens.
We were all brought up to the Soviet Union, 1984, fiction, this nightmare. We're beyond 1984, aren't we, John?
Well, we're way beyond 1984. When it reaches the point that I can be in some remote part of the world calling another friend of mine in some remote part of the world, and our government is capable of listening in. Well, remember in 1984, there were actually safe parts of the world where there was no government spying. Well, that's not the case in this case. No matter where you are, you can be seen, watched, and heard.
But then if I try to go to the NSA or my reporters do just to ask questions at the front gate, they flip out and act like we're terrorists.
Well, also, you're probably going to get audited.
Well, I mean, it just shows they want all their privacy from us, but we have no privacy.
Absolutely. That's the government what it's doing, and you become an enemy. Yet you try to keep the government from knowing what you do, then you become the enemy as well. It's like insane. There's no hope in the system until we regain some inalienable rights that are in our Constitution.
All right, there's so much going on in the world. Let's get into the NSA. Let's get into the power grab, the panopticon, the technocracy they're trying to build, sir, and how you think culturally we can change this and stop this, and what you think is also most positive about what's happening right now after you cover what's most negative.
All right. I think the first thing I'd like to say is what's needed, Alex, is we need to stop being afraid. For example, it's fear that allowed us to let the government at the end of 9/11 create the Homeland Security, all of the things that getting on an airplane now. I travel a lot, so it's like I get halfway undressed 5 times a week just to travel somewhere so that they can make sure I'm not a threat to America. We're afraid, many of us. They're using that against us. My product, for example, Sony Enterprises has called my intended product, a dangerous product because it will allow the crooks and hackers of the world to not be seen. Well, people also use telephones as the criminals use telephones. Do we get rid of telephones?
But the hackers already know all this stuff, so this is for the general public to protect themselves. It's the same argument against guns, saying you can't have a gun, you might hurt somebody. No, I need a gun to protect myself.
Absolutely. And we need a privacy to protect ourselves. And so, of course, anything that we build which is positive is going to be used by the criminal elements of society. We can't stop it. They use telephones. They use cars to get away from bank robberies. What do? We take cars away from people? So this is insane to use this rationale for, no, don't let McAfee build that product because it's dangerous. It's going to let crooks get away with things. Well, it's also going to let me be private, and you be private, and all of us be private. So what do? Do we sacrifice our privacy for the illusion of safety? There can't be safety without privacy, Alex.
Are we going to be able to turn this around?
I'm not sure. It's going to depend on all of us, isn't it? I mean, this is still America. We still have the right to vote, and we still have the right to think for ourselves. If we will stand up and go, I'm not going to be afraid anymore, and go to that booth and vote these people out. All 100% across the board, and bring in people who say, yes, we've become crazy as a society. We have got to return to sanity. It's up to us, Alex. We have to do something. We can't sit back and let somebody else do it for us. Are we willing to do that? That is the question.
General craziness and self-destructiveness is increasing. Are you seeing that?
Of course it is. I mean, absolutely, across the board. We're becoming a very insane society here. A self-destructive society. It's obvious. Open our eyes to look around you. You see it. I see it. Everybody has to see it. We're closing our eyes to it sometimes because it requires courage to see the truth. Do we have the courage?
Let me ask you this question. What do we do as producers when all these stupid parasites that literally can't tie their shoelaces want to run our lives? What do we do about that?
Well, first of all, the reason that many people are indifferent is because it's easy to be indifferent. It's easy not to know what's going on, not to know what party the president is in, because if you don't know, it can't scare you. That's what's happened here, and that's what this world has become. We don't want to know many times, because if we know, we have to do something. We don't want to do anything because doing something is scary. I think that's the fundamental problem. I can build a product, which is what I'm doing, that you can drop in your pocket that's going to give you privacy, but I can't change the way people think, unfortunately. You know, I mean, you know, I will do anything to help people have the right to protect themselves, to have a gun, to do, you know, to their own privacy. You know, but the world is full of some frighteningly indifferent people now.
Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you, to all these indifferent people that think they're going to run my life, it's over. We, the working, thinking people, are done with you and all your bureaucrats. What do you make of the persecution of reporters? And they've told priests, if they minister to people on the military base during the shutdown, even if somebody's had a family member die, they will be arrested. I mean, just to see what a tyrant Obama's turned into, he's 1,000 times beyond Nixon and getting away with all of it. What's next?
You know, I don't know, because what we have is to me, the ultimate nightmare. I never dreamed in 1,000 years that it would come to this. So what's next? My mind can't conceive it, sir.
What else is on your mind, John, instead of me asking my feeble questions?
Well, you know, what's on my mind now is how I can position my new products so that they'll actually let me build it here in America. You know, as it looks right now, I can assure you the music industry, the movie industry, are going to be radically against it, because it means that stealing their stuff is going to be easier. But, you know, get a clue. You know, if you're building something, look at the way the world is moving and protect yourself. Don't make me stop producing something that gives us privacy.
You can't have prior constraint.
More difficult,
yeah, you can't have prior constraint of everybody, like we can't have privacy because we might do something wrong. That's like saying your house has got to be glass because you might do something with your privacy. This is the essence of authoritarianism. They're going to try to stop you and call it disruptive technology, but there's no way, I mean, that they can stop you, because people really want this unless they kill you.
Well, that's another issue, sir. It's, you know, people call me paranoid. Well, maybe, but, you know, I'm still breathing, and I think I have a good reason to be paranoid. I'm always out on the edge doing things that people don't want me to do. The government, I'm sure the government does not want me to do something which is going to make the NSA powerless to get into your life. Well, you know, they're obviously going to try to stop me legally by saying, well, what you're producing is not good, we're not going to let you do it. Well, then I'm going to produce it somewhere else, and I'm going to sell it somewhere else. But the technology is coming because people have to have, without privacy, we have no individuality. We become a machine. Now, I don't want that. You don't want that. And ultimately, the world will look at itself and say, wait a minute, we have gone crazy here, and things will change.
Yeah, for those that don't know, sociologists, anthropologists, psychologists, historians all have found one element that is the most important for freedom and creativity, and that's privacy. Privacy, they don't even fully understand it, but if you don't have privacy, you're a slave. It's a very simple equation. Why is that, John? John McAfee, why do we have to have privacy? Why is it so important?
Because without privacy, sir, because we're humans and because we are imperfect, we get judged. All right, why do we do certain things in privacy? Well, because, you know, we know that what we're doing here might offend somebody's sensibilities somewhere else. What we're doing here, someone may not want us to do because of, who knows what, competition, greed, all of the things that humans have. Privacy is our protection against ourselves. All humans have the same thing. We are all, to some extent, greedy. We're all, to some extent, jealous. We are all, to some extent, lustful, and all of the other things. And given that fact, privacy is our protection against ourselves. When we can go and do things which really are innocent without people becoming afraid of what we might be doing. And so we all have to have it. It's a necessity of life if we are to be individuals. Now, if we're in some communist state where we all think alike and dress alike and there is no change, well, you don't need privacy. But then there are no people as well. We are robots. The question is do we have the courage to remain human? I don't know. I'm going to do my part.
As soon as you come out with this device, if we're able to sell it in the U.S., I would like to be a distributor through the Infowars.com network of your product, sir.
it's a done deal, sir.
Wow. Very exciting. Okay, we'll stay in touch. I'll let you go.
Thank you very much, Alex.
All right, thank you, John. We'll talk soon.